Hello, and welcome back to the FocusRx channel. One of you lovely people that watch this channel actually asked a really great question that I wanted to address in today's video. The question was how to succeed in the pharmaceutical industry as an introvert. When it comes to getting your first job in the pharma industry or having a successful career, there are things that are talked about a lot, like networking, public speaking, things like that can really be frightening for somebody that is an introvert. Now, don't get me wrong, those are skills that need to be learned no matter who you are and what your personality is. But as you can imagine, it is probably a little more difficult for somebody who is an introvert. So today I want to talk about this and provide some helpful tips. First of all, I think it's extremely important to talk about what introversion actually means. I think generally in society, it is seen as a weakness. We see people who are able to be social as somewhat better. And even this question kind of has an underlying notion that it is bad to be an introvert and that you want to be an extrovert. But that's not necessarily true. Introversion at its core, and people who are introverts often actually possess qualities and skills that extroverts don't. These are qualities like deep thinking, excellent listening skills, and an eye for detailed work. Now, these skills and attributes can actually be extremely helpful not only in any walk of life, but especially for a role in the pharmaceutical industry. When it comes to the soft skills that people are looking for, precision and attention to detail are huge and probably one of the top on the list. You're working with medicines, you're working with the future of healthcare, you're working to make an impact on patients' lives. So being able to naturally take the time to listen to what everyone is saying and not just always talk, or again, having the skills to think extremely deeply and work with a detailed eye are absolutely paramount to you succeeding in the industry. And again, actually creating those transformative therapies. Introverts naturally have this reflective energy. They think about a lot of things and reflect on situations. And especially when it comes to this fast-paced world where everything needs to happen yesterday, having that skill naturally is such a huge asset. You need to be able to analyze situations, look at things from different perspectives, and find creative solutions. So honestly, this is not a negative trait. It should really be seen as an invaluable trait. And if you are an introvert, you should really A, play to these skills, but B, make these skills known, whether it's in your application, your resume, your interview, or all of the above. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and you always have to use your strengths to your advantage. So if you're an introvert, use these absolutely amazing skills to your advantage in a world of extroverts that may not possess those qualities. Next up, let's talk about networking strategies. I probably mention networking in like 90% of my videos because it is important. I really harp on the fact that networking should not be looked as a negative thing. It should not be difficult. Networking at its simplest form is just getting to know the people around you and talking to them, just actually talking to them. The principle is that naturally, the more people you know, the more resourceful you will be. It is now always used in a way of using your network to get a job or needing something from somebody. But naturally, if you look at the people around you in your surroundings, in your families, in your communities, the person that knows the most people is generally the most resourceful. Whenever something needs to be done, whether it's you need to fix a pipe in your house or you need to get a job, they know the person to go to because they have an arsenal of people in their community, in their network. So this is a helpful skill regardless of the professional world. But now when we talk about the professional world, the same principle applies. The more people you know, the more impact you can actually have. Now, of course, it can help you when you're looking for a job, when you're looking for a change in your career, but it can also help in so many other ways. Let's say you're having a conversation with somebody and they randomly bring up needing help in XYZ and they don't know who to go to. You might know somebody in your network that could help with this, and you could immediately put those two people in touch. That's amazing. That is what I feel like human connection is made for. So again, networking doesn't have to be this big, bad, ugly, horrible, difficult thing. Just really try to focus on what it is at its core. Now, when it comes to professional networking, again, this can be quite intimidating for introverts because when we talk about networking, things like networking events, get-togethers come up, and those are all very social events. But I think it's important to remember that networking doesn't have to be in these large, intimidating places. Again, networking is just the act of getting to know other people. So as an introvert, you can actually network in smaller gatherings or one-on-one. That way, you just have to deal with talking to a small group of people or just one other person one-on-one. In fact, I actually think this could be used to your advantage because when you're able to connect with a smaller group of people, to talk to somebody one-on-one, you're able to be a little more personal, which in turn is actually going to create a deeper relationship. If you meet 50 people at an event, you might have just met with them for 30 seconds. But if you meet with somebody one-on-one, you could probably give them 30 minutes of your time and get to know them a lot better and have them be able to get to know you a lot better. So again, as an introvert, I don't think you should shy away from networking. And I think using these strategies of doing it in smaller groups or again, one-on-one is probably the most effective way for you to network. Now, another very effective strategy for everyone, but I think especially introverts, is to have a set goal when it comes to networking events. Say you are an introvert, but you want to get over that fear and you still want to go to large events. You definitely should. And the easiest way to do that is to kind of set a clear goal of what your intention is with attending that networking event. Keep it small, keep it tangible. Instead of needing to meet a high volume of people, go in with the intention of just making 3 to 5 deeper connections. That way, you're not focused on everybody, but whoever you kind of naturally start speaking to, naturally come across, just have a goal to have that deeper connection in that time. Networking events are a great opportunity to be in the room with people that you may not be privy to in any other situation. So you want to be able to make use of it. But if it is intimidating to you, then again, going in with a specific goal can really help you. You can even try to research the attendees in advance, see what fields people work in, what do they do, go up to specific people if you have a specific goal in mind. But being well prepared and then genuinely interested in the people that are at this event are going to make it a lot easier for you to make these deeper connections and in turn feel a little less overwhelmed by this huge, big event. The last very effective way to network as an introvert can also be online. Say you're starting out and you just want some practice. Reach out to some people on LinkedIn and simply have a conversation through the computer. We are in an age that is able to be done and you can make great connections this way, in fact. So especially when you're starting, just use these platforms that we have, reach out to people, practice that way, and then slowly you can work up to getting to events. Maybe after talking to 5-10 people just through LinkedIn, you can ask somebody if they have 30 minutes to join you on a Zoom call. And that's kind of the next step. And then maybe after 5 or 10 people that you meet through Zoom, you can say, hey, let's meet in person. And you can slowly grow like that to getting comfortable to going to these bigger events and networking with people. Next, as an introvert, you might have some level of stage fright. And that can really affect you when it comes to public speaking and presentations at work. Especially in the pharmaceutical industry, presentation skills are definitely highly sought after. So that's something you want to work on. But again, you might struggle with this as an introvert. To overcome this stage fright, the first thing that you should do is just practice. Practice by yourself as long as you need until you're comfortable with just the way that you speak. Once you're comfortable with just yourself, you can expand that to a friend or a family member. Just 1 or 2 individuals that you are comfortable with and use them as an audience to practice with. And then again, once you're comfortable with them, you can grow it to 5 to 10 family members or friends, rehearse your presentations with them, ask them to connect as an audience, and just keep practicing. When it comes to stage fright, you should also understand what kind of makes you anxious about the process, and whether it's the prep, whether it's the audience that doesn't know you, whatever it is, try to pinpoint it so you can try to manage that when push comes to shove. Learn how to calm your nerves, learn what works for you. Lastly, I would say even though it's extremely scary, try to take up opportunities, whether it's at school or at work, to have more public speaking and presentation opportunities. Honestly, this is just one of those things that the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And without actually taking up those opportunities, you'll kind of fall into this hole of never doing it. And the more you don't do it, the scarier it becomes. That mountain of fear will just keep getting bigger and bigger. And so as much as you can, try to take up those opportunities. Maybe you start with an opportunity of just providing a presentation to a small group, 2 people, 1 person in a professional setting though, and then you make it grow from there. Again, just practice, take up as many of the opportunities as possible, and really try to learn what your boundaries are and where you can really take control of that stage fright. Next up, on the same topic of public speaking and presentations, like I said, public speaking is a skill. So sometimes a lot of the fear of stage fright and public speaking can actually come from not having the skill itself. And so on top of just practicing and taking up those opportunities, another thing you can do is actually go after training. It is a skill you can develop over time, but if you want to be efficient about it, or if you just want to be a little more confident in your public speaking skills and know what you're supposed to do, then maybe you can enroll in a training, in a class, work with a mentor, and be able to understand how to actually structure your speeches, what public speaking skills need to be worked on, and that way you're not doing it alone. This way you can know what works and what doesn't work, how you're supposed to do something. And as an introvert especially, you can ask your mentor or the course instructor methods and ways to actually overcome that, and ask them if they can help you with that. If you have somebody working on this with you, you're actually going to gain that skill a lot faster. So if your fear originates from maybe not having enough skills, not doing it enough, not knowing what you should do and what the right thing is to do, use online resources, courses, things like that to thoroughly understand what public speaking takes. And trust me, the more that you do it, the more that you actually work on your public speaking skills, the less scary it will naturally become. Lastly, when it comes to any personality trait, but especially an introvert, confidence is key. We are naturally all certain personalities. And so if you are an introvert, I wouldn't say that you have to work on changing that personality trait. Like we started out in this video, there are certain character traits that introverts have that I think are huge assets in the professional world. But you have to know that. You have to be confident in that, and you have to show that. So confidence is absolutely key. Whatever you have, whatever strengths you have, carry them with confidence. And confidence, again, as scary as it is actually a learned skill. It is a quality that can be nurtured. So one effective strategy to build confidence is actually working in small doses. If you have stage fright, or if you've never done a presentation before, doing a full presentation in front of a huge group of people can be extremely intimidating. But that's a really big goal. How about you start small? Make your first goal to make a 1-minute presentation for just 1 person. And then slowly you can add to that and get to that big goal. But it'll only happen by setting that small goal. These small goals will naturally push you a little bit out of your comfort zone every single time. And without even knowing it, without realizing it, every time you attain that small goal, your confidence meter will go just that much up. And before you know it, as long as you're consistently going after those small chunks of growth, your confidence will grow with it, and it'll start to show in your personality. Again, confidence does not belong in any specific personality trait, whether it's an extrovert or introvert. You can find many extroverts that are not confident, and you can find many introverts that are confident. So being an introvert doesn't stop you from being confident, but if you intentionally grow your confidence, it will automatically help you with the weaknesses that may come from being an introvert. Understand yourself, but don't be your harshest critic. Understand where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. Be real with yourself. But work on believing in yourself, work on believing in your strengths, affirm yourself. It's all a mental game, and it is an important mental game because it will help you or hold you back in your professional career. And like I said, public speaking, presentations, leadership, all these skills are very highly sought after in the pharmaceutical industry. And so as you develop your confidence, your mental strength around your own strengths, you will naturally be better equipped to tackle those challenges that come your way in the professional world. And as you do that, you can easily be seen as an incredibly successful professional, a thought leader, a great presenter, great public speaker, all of that. So overall, succeeding in the pharmaceutical industry as an introvert is not only possible, but it can definitely lead you to a rewarding and successful career as long as you're intentional about it. Understand your own strengths, develop your networking and public speaking skills, build your confidence, and then watch yourself thrive in this amazing industry. I know it can be extremely difficult, but come back to this video as many times as you need to just listen to it. You have so many great abilities that will allow you to thrive in this industry. And if you need me to sit here and tell you about them, then I will. I do that often. I find videos that put me in a good mental spot when I need it and I save them. And so if this is one that's for you, maybe you need to come back to it multiple times. Maybe you need to continuously work on your small goals. And when you've done 1, 2, 3 of them, you come back to this video to understand what to do next. Let this be your little pep talk, but just know that it is not impossible and you have a lot of great strengths. If this video resonated with you or was helpful in any way, do hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your fellow introverted professionals who are working in the pharmaceutical industry or seek to start their career in the industry. As always, you can find a bunch of career resources at the FocusRx website. And of course, feel free to reach out via email or in the comments below with any questions or video topics like this one that came from one of you. Remember, your introversion is a strength, not a limitation, one that can help you really build a successful career in the pharma industry. Thank you guys so much for your time, and you guys will see me in the next video.